Here's 5 tips that you can take action on today that's going to help you strike your putts better, and it could also have a good knock-on effect to other areas of your putting. Okay, the 5 tips are coming up in just a minute, but I think it's important to know mishitting putts is a lot more common than people realise, even among elite golfers. I've been using technology for over a decade that measures things like how well people strike putts, and take it from me, most people have got a lot of mishits happening. It's actually quite rare I get a golfer who I'm observing and going, wow, this person middles nearly all their putts. So it's very common, especially towards the toe, but you do get heel strikers. So you get predominantly toe strikers, you get a few heel strikers, and you get some people that just hit it all over the face. The reason that we should want to hit our putts better is probably going to help us more on longer putts. You know, we're going to lose distance if we're hitting all our putts out the toe and the heel and all over the place. You know, you'd probably be better being consistently bad. You know, somebody that hits it all over the place is going to get a different result than someone who's maybe out of the toe a little bit, but always out of the same place in the toe. So inconsistent strikes is going to give you inconsistent distances on your long putts. That's going to only increase the chances of more 3 putts, which we all hate. There's a little bit of a mix, or maybe a little bit of a debate on the impact on short putts. Some, especially modern good quality putters, you know, you might get away with a bit more with this. You know, a putt can still hold its line quite well, maybe on a straight 8-footer, straight 5-footer with a toe strike and a heel strike, which is good. That's good that there is a bit of forgiveness. So I think the main reason people mishit putts is a lack of a couple of things: stability and connection. And by stability, I would mean like the body's, you know, there's a lot of setup issues and or independent movement going on in the body that we don't really want. You know, so by dealing with these things, you could quite often help other areas of your putting, as I was saying. I think a lack of connection between like bigger muscles and the putter head. You know, if you think about, if we don't have much stability in the body and we don't have a lot of connection with bigger muscles, and the hands are, think of all the levers you've got and the way that you can wave that putter about, you know. So poor strike is also, you know, poor path, poor face angles and things like that as well. You know, a lot of people that have a mixture. So dealing with this could help other areas of your putting as well. Tip number 1 is how you address the golf ball. How you put the putter behind the ball. This isn't the most common cause of toe strikes and heel strikes, in my opinion, but it's the easiest one to look at. So let's look at it first. Are you putting the sweet spot of the putter into the center of the golf ball? Now, I have a line on the sweet spot of my putter and I have a line on a ball, so I can just join the 2 lines. But if you don't use a line on the golf ball and you don't have a line on your putter, you just need to give it a little more attention. I would say a common problem, if anyone isn't addressing it properly, is when you look down on a putter, you mainly see from the shaft to the toe end, and a lot of golfers will put the ball in the middle of that. Now, my putter is almost a centre shaft putter, but it's not centre shaft. If someone's got more heel shafted, it doesn't really make a big difference. You're still not seeing the whole head. You know, the shaft would have to be hanging off the heel end of the putter for you to see the whole head. So just giving that a little bit more attention, I think would fix that for most people. Tips number 2 and 3 get to the root cause of why we miss hit putts. So number 2, we're going to get an alignment stick. This is really concerning the stability stuff I was talking about or hinting at. So put an alignment stick through your belt loops. And what we're going to try and do is reduce the moving parts. I see quite a lot of golfers when they putt, they really, you know, the lower body really moves with the putter. So what we're going to try and focus on here is upper body is connected in the upper arms. You know, the torso is going to be active, but we want to keep our lower body quiet. So if the lower body moves, the stick's going to move. So it's really good. Take a couple of practice strokes. Really try to keep that stick still and feel this connection in the upper body. Address a ball. And also pay attention to your strike. What did the strike feel like? Tip number 3 is quite similar. Again, I'm going to use an alignment stick. You can use a golf club for this, but just try it. If the golf club, if you can move your lower body and the golf club doesn't fall, it's not going to do you much good. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to just balance an alignment stick on my trail leg. So that's my left leg, but for right-handed golfers, it's going to be the right leg. Balance it. So it's just balanced. Now, if I move my hips, the stick's going to probably, you're going to feel the stick move and it will probably fall over. So similar to tip number 2, but give it a try. Again, I still like the feel of the upper body, the bigger muscles being used. I'm going to try and putt. Keep the stick there, alright? That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to use gates outside your putter head. Indoors I'm going to use golf balls, outdoors I'll use golf tees. This doesn't get to the root cause of why we miss-hit putts in the way that tips 1 to 3 did, but it's great for feedback and getting a feel for things. And if you, for example, are going to toe strike, you're going to disturb the gate at the heel end. If you heel strike a putt, you disturb the gate at the toe end. So I would recommend doing this one. You've seen Tiger Woods do this for years. You can do this on short putts and long putts. Targets are optional as well. Sometimes it's quite a good little drill to do on like 30, 40, 50 foot distance putts to really get a feel if you can get a good strike on those ones. The final tip is about the vertical sweet spot of a putter. I think most golfers accept, or they know, that there's a sweet spot horizontally. So we've got the toe end, we've got the heel end, and we've got the sweet spot. But I don't think enough golfers take into consideration the vertical sweet spot. Reason being is I just see so many golfers hit below the vertical sweet spot. And I think the main cause is poor ball position, too far forward, and it's sometimes caused by golfers physically lifting the putter up through the ball, which comes back to, I think, historical outdated phrases like, oh, you need to keep the putter back, keep the putter low going back so that we can, lift it up going through. Ideally, with a good ball position and a good connected setup and everything, the putter will just naturally lift up on the way back and it'll come back down. So check it out. You could put your phone on a slow motion setting and video your strike. And if your putter's, quite far off the ground when it hits the ball, you're possibly missing the vertical sweet spot. Also, check out this drill with a coin behind the putter head. That'll really give you a feel for your quality of strike in that regard as well. I've got a coin here, pound coin, behind the putter head. So what I want to do is make sure I do avoid that coin, because it's easy to keep. I mean, it was said for decades, wasn't it? Keep the putter back, going back low, which is actually pretty bad advice. I would definitely want to feel like the putter naturally lifts up, although it won't feel very natural if you don't lift it up. But yeah, try this one. Easy to do, get a coin. And what I would do is see if it feels different when you avoid the coin. Does the strike feel better? So there's your 5 tips. I would advise you to work through them, and while you're doing that, and even when you're playing golf and on the putting green, you'll start building a better feel for your quality of strike. I've been paying attention to this for quite a few years, so when I'm on the golf course, I can feel a heel strike, I can feel a toe strike. Doesn't mean I don't do them, but it stops me just doing them all the time and not even noticing them, okay? So we're not robots, we're gonna miss hit putts, that's okay, but we're hoping to get better over time, like anything. So have a go at that. See if you can get a better feel over time. It's easier to do with blades than mallets, but it's not a reason to ditch a mallet and go buy a blade putter just so you can feel your quality of strike better, because mallets will actually forgive you, especially on distance putts. You'll get more forgiveness on them. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. But just whatever putter you're using, and I do think using mallets, you can still improve your feel of the strike. It's just a little bit harder because of the weight of the head and the MOI. You're not always going to feel the subtle toe strikes and heel strikes, but you never know. Some people have better feel than others. So give it a try. Hopefully this will improve your strike and improve your putting. Thanks very much for watching.